Hello there, everyone. His name is Aaron, and his pet peeve is cheating in Mario Party.
And his name's Tommy, and he likes to collect bottle caps. And his name's Nova, and he likes to put ketchup on his hash browns.
Woo!
Do actually. That's a delicacy where I come from.
And welcome to the Super Pod Saga. Episode 14 of the Super Pod Saga. Hi, Nova. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Nova is our guest. How do you know Mr. Aaron?
I'm his brother-in-law, so he's
Ooh.
married to my sister.
Ooh, fun. And for the people at home, why don't you just give like a quick what's your video game history, what games are important to you, all that good stuff.
I've played pretty much everything. So I started with the N64, and I had a PS1, a PS2, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4. I am a huge Sony nerd though, so like I love the God of War games and anything like that. I like a lot of the exclusives. The first game I remember playing is I can remember playing all the way through is actually Sly Cooper, the first one,
Ooh.
and I played that with my sisters, and that's probably the most important game in my gaming history actually, because that was one of the first things I ever really played with like friends or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say you're more knowledgeable about video games than Aaron.
I don't know about that.
So today's topic was picked by me, and I'm excited. It is best followers / companions in video games. Dun, dun, dun,
It's a good one.
dun.
There's
What-
a ton of those.
Yeah, there is a ton of those, which is good. So what do you two look for when it comes to companions / followers in games?
Nova, you're the guest. You can go first.
So I look for somebody that is kind of like their own character and doesn't have to completely rely on the main character for their personality or anything like that. Like somebody that can actually bring their own thing to the table, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I would have said too. That's what my picks were for sure.
Well, why don't you get us started, Aaron? Share your first pick.
But okay, my first pick was Diddy Kong. A
Mm.
little Smash main guy. I think first introduced in the original Donkey Kong Country.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Diddy Kong, best known for Smash.
For real, with his goddamn banana peel peanut gun. Well, yeah, I like him because in the original Donkey Kong Country, you can switch between him and Donkey Kong, but Diddy Kong being not as strong, he's just more agile. He can jump farther, he can run faster. He's just a great side character and very iconic with his little hat and his little vest and shit.
And he's the rare second class character to get his own game with the Diddy Kong Racing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And then he's been featured in a lot of under Nintendo stuff, like multiple Mario parties. I'm pretty sure he was in a Mario Kart once or twice.
He's got to
Of
be in
course,
some of the
Smash.
sports games, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in the newest Mario Tennis and a few of the other ones too.
Was he in Mario versus Sonic at the Olympics too?
He should have been.
He
Goddamn.
wasn't? He wasn't? Okay.
I haven't
Oh,
played
he
any of
could
them,
have
so
he
I'm
could have
not
done
100%
skeet
sure.
shooting.
Yes. Right.
He's
Or-
definitely a skeeter if I've ever seen one.
Disgusting. That's not what we're talking about. Family friendly show. Did either of you ever play Diddy Kong Racing? Because I've heard from people that it's really good, but that's like the only.
Hell yeah, there's a good story with that. Me and Nova and Cheyenne were all at a store in Des Moines called Half Price Books, and we found a copy of Diddy Kong Racing for the N64, and it was like $20. Bought it, and then we played Diddy Kong Racing for like what 3 hours.
yeah, it was a while.
Fun.
It's a great game.
I owned it growing up and never played it. So,
That's fun. It's interesting to have a Diddy Kong Racing on the same console as Mario Kart 64.
yeah,
I
I
know.
always played Mario Kart more. for
Yep.
Sure.
Let's
Hell
see.
yeah.
Let's see. I've got you guys talked about good companions are their own unique characters, and my first pick is not have any personality at all. It's the skeletal militiaman summon in Elden Ring.
Nice.
And
What the hell?
Nice.
I need to give some I need to say some stuff first. I didn't play all of Elden Ring. I only got like 40 hours in. So I'm sure there's better summons out there that you can get later in the game, but for me, a baby early on in Elden Ring, they were like my best bros. In Elden Ring, you can summon creatures to help you fight, which this was my first FromSoft game. I've never played any Dark Souls, Demon Souls, or anything, so I was very overwhelmed. And one of the creatures that I found I could summon was the skeletal militiamen, which are just these two tall, bony guys with spears. And they would just walk around stabbing things, and they did a good job of stunning things, which helped me. But they also would come back to life after dying, after enough time. So even when they would die, they would come back and just go back to stabbing things. And for me, as a new person to this genre, a new person to this world, they were like my best buds. I just called them out as often as I could to help.
Love stabbing.
Oh, they were so stabby.
Wasn't there also that giant jellyfish summon you were talking about?
Yeah, I
That sounds
summoned-
badass. That sounds awesome.
I summoned that one once, and it just like died instantly to a giant bear. I was like, maybe that wasn't the best matchup.
You upgrade it and it gets a lot better, actually.
It's so weird that Tommy has only played one Soulsborne game. I've played maybe like a few, but Nova here is like he's the grand master of that shit.
Yeah, I've got like 6,000 hours in the first Dark Souls game. I've beat it
Dang.
probably like at least 300 times.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I have no life.
No, not in a bad way, in a good way. You're an expert of Dark Souls. It always feels good to be an expert of a game.
Yeah, for sure. Aaron and I have a mutual friend, Michael, and he would always call me, and I'd have to go over and like beat a boss for him or something.
That's adorable. I love that.
Yeah, it's like my little brother.
What's
All
your
right.
What's your first pick, Nova?
Oh, right. So my first one was actually Gary from Pokemon Red and Blue.
Ooh.
It's more of a rival, but also I kind of feel like it's like a sidekick or a secondary character, you know.
Oh yeah.
But he really sets the tone for the game. You know, he's everything you want to be and beat at the same time. Definitely sets the pace for the game, and he makes it the challenge it needs to be. I mean, you could be breezing through certain areas in the game, and then this dude will just pop up, you know, and he's 10 levels above you, or even if he's lower level than you. I feel like I always struggled right in Cerulean City, you know, when you were going over the bridge to go up top, and he would show up, and I would always be stuck on that battle for like 3 hours
With his fucking Raticate or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, and it had Hyper Fang or Super Fang, one of the two.
That's right. I was just thinking Hyperfang. Hell yeah.
And it would just ruin every single person on my team. I would always send my my starter out first, and then it would just this random Raticate would just wreck my whole team.
Just gnaw him to death.
Yeah. So
What's crazy is in Red and Blue, his team changed based on if you beat him or lost to him in the matches, and they like didn't really do that ever again. I feel like.
yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a advanced mechanic in Pokemon Red and Blue, and I think another thing that made him so that fight so special is he's like the only person who will come and fight you. Like he'll just appear at the screen and walk to you. Everyone else you walk to and fight, but he's like, surprise, motherfucker.
yeah. Like to him, you're the NPC.
Yeah.
He busts through your fucking kitchen window. Hey, let's battle, bitch.
Go get him, Raticate.
Oh man.
I mean, I would be terrified if somebody sent a giant rat at me. You know,
Just gnawing your Bulbasaur to death.
yeah, eating all my plants.
Man, speaking of herbivores, my next pick was Frog from Chrono Trigger.
Oh my gosh, that's a great pick.
Yeah. Those who don't know, he was not always a frog. In the Middle Ages, he was just a guy named Glenn, just a regular old knight. And then one of the main-ish villains, Magus. I don't know how the fuck you say it, but he turns him into a frog. Murders his family or whatever. And now he's a frog. He joins your party, and he has a sweet little tongue attack. He's all of his spells are water element. He does a lot of sweet cross techs with Chrono and all the fellas, and Frog's great. a little sticker of him on my laptop because he's great.
You can rename all your party members and yourself in Chrono Trigger, and the first time I played it, it pops up with his real name, and it was Frog, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can't possibly come up with a better name.
You should have gone the XCOM route, naming something goofy like Waffles or like Urethra or something.
I named Robo. I named him Bender, like from Futurama, and that's how I read his voice from that point on.
Oh, that's
Bye,
perfect.
bye, shiny metal.
That's right. Bender is great. Damn, what you got?
I this is breaking because I don't think I've ever actually talked about this game on the podcast. But D-Dog or DD in Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't think you know what this is, do you, Aaron?
Oh no, I've never even attempted to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
That's the only one in the series I've played. Apparently, I just played the newest entry in games.
Yes, yeah, with Elden Ring and this and damn.
Anyways, so my love for D-Dog is twofold. The first part is just story-wise. You'll go into a mission in the Middle East, and you'll like land on the ground. You'll just hear this tiny like little crying or barking or whatever, and you look, and there's this little puppy in the middle of the desert, and you're like, "Hi, little guy." And
I didn't know it was an actual dog. I thought it was just going to be a person named D-Dog.
No, it's an actual dog. and
That's cool. That's awesome. It's even better.
Yeah, you just find him in the wilderness, and like a big mechanic in the game is you can tranquilize people or animals and then have them sent to your base, and so you can tranquilize the little puppy and then have him parachuted back to your base. And then for a few missions, every time you go back to your home base and it does the cool helicopter scene, you get off, the little puppy just runs from the base up to you to like lick your, and his legs are so small, he takes forever to get there.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, I know, it's great. It's the best part of coming back to the base. And then eventually he grows up and he has an eye patch because he's missing an eye. And then you can take him with you on missions. And the second part of why he's such a good companion is that he'll run along with you. He can't get hurt or do any damage or anything, but he will spot enemies, objectives, traps, whatever. Like as when you get into a certain area, he'll just be like, woof, woof. And you'll be like, oh, okay, and it marks them for you so that you can see. It's just such a blessing. It makes missions so great, and he's just such a cool dog with an eye patch.
Hit me with that woof again, please.
Woof. Woof.
Yeah.
Because he's quiet. You can't bark loud. You'll alert them to where they are.
The Metal Gear Solid series is so fucking weird. I remember
Insane.
Metal Gear Solid 3, whenever you ate something that restored a lot of health, Snake would be like, "That's damn good," and it'd just be a fucking snake or like some kind of like bowl of crickets or some shit that you
Just
picked
a
up.
raw snake.
You know how you can use the right stick to rotate your character?
You can make him throw up in the game?
You can make him throw up if you
Yes,
just rotate
sir.
him over and over again. Oh, that's so
my
good.
gosh.
What a touch.
What a series. Give us a good segue, no, but
So, speaking of dogs, right?
yeah.
My next guy is Dog Meat from the Fallout series.
Perfect. Look at this guy. He's a professional podcaster.
See, you know,
That was unintentional. I had no idea he put this down, but
he's just a lovable dog. He does no damage in the newer games, and then in 4 he sucks, terrible. But he does risk his life for you, and he's got a perk in the 3rd game where he entrusts you with his puppies and stuff after he dies.
Wait.
So
Brutal.
Yeah, but so in the 3rd game, all of the companions stay dead when they die, except for Dog Meat. If you have this perk, he can just keep dying, and you just keep getting new iterations of the dog, which is kind of gross.
that is very gross.
Also, I thought Dog Meat was a guy the entire time until I had that perk, but like, it's not. So,
It's just some dude named Dog Meat.
yeah, it's just a man in a dog
It's the
suit.
same thing you said about D-Dog. Like, these are actual
Yeah.
dogs, Aaron.
Yeah,
Well, because I mean, they have a character in I think it was like Fallout 3 named like 3Cat or whatever the hell.
3-dog.
3-Dog.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. 3-Dog.
that's
He's a
fair.
person.
I
Yeah,
didn't
He's
play
just a
Fallout
radio
3.
personality.
He's a broadcasting anchor or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. He's not a dog.
But he definitely takes a step back in the 4th game, but he was very good and probably the only companion that I think I would willingly take to game, third game.
I didn't know he was in the third game. I thought that he was exclusive to Fallout 4. But when I played Fallout 4, I actually somehow went around the Red Rocket Inn at the beginning and like didn't actually meet Dogmeat until way later in the game, when I just happened to go back into the area and this dog ran up to me and I'm like, oh, hello. And then I learned later that everyone finds him right away.
Yeah, they put him there because you kind of need him to progress the story. So like when you go to find your son's kidnappers or whatever, he's the one that helps track him.
Oh yeah, I was like, the kid's dead. Like, I genuinely was like, there's no way that kid's alive. I'm gonna do other stuff.
So the interesting thing is he's actually in one of the original 2 games as well. He's one of the companions you can get. So in the third game, that's like Dogmeat's grandson or something.
Holy
like that.
shit!
That's awesome.
Yeah,
He adopts the mantle of Dogmeat like Batman.
yeah. And just what a gross name, because obviously
Yeah,
the dog is
seriously.
made out of dog meat.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Name your person people meat.
yeah.
Is it
It's
my pick now?
Yeah,
I
it's your
forgot
turn.
the order.
It's your turn.
Yeah, it's you.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of meat, the next one I have is it's Henry from Fire Emblem Awakening, and this is a total weeb pick, but yeah, Henry's actually another one. Oh, I skipped one, but whatever. Yeah. So, obviously Fire Emblem, you get a shit ton of different companions and people that join your party, but Henry really stood out because for one, he's a dark mage. You don't ever get dark mages.
Made of meat.
Yeah, he's made a meaty dark mage.
Is this a dog or a person?
No, it's a person.
Okay,
actually.
okay.
But yeah, what's really cool about him is that he's always got this like creepy smile on his face all the time, and he's always like laughing and just hysterical whenever there's anything like macabre or like any kind of like bloodshed going on. Like whenever he gets a kill or something like that, one of his lines will be like, "Ha ha ha, ha you're dead," and ha ha ha, and something like that. But he's a real goofy character. He's got a really, really gross kind of same dark sense of humor as I might have if I were on the battlefield. Never mind, I'd probably just cry and piss my pants on the battlefield, honestly. But
You wouldn't be laughing.
no,
No.
I'm gonna probably go insane and start laughing like, ha ha ha, ha this isn't real. I develop PTSD.
Yeah.
But that's Henry.
Think you were made out of dog meat.
Yes, I wish I was made of snake meat. Snake
I-
meat sandwich.
I've only played the newest Fire Emblem, the Three Houses, and I recruited one person from another class or whatever, and then it did the time skip, and so I was back at the school and I was like just checking in on everyone to see if they're all safe, and I was like, cool, the gang's all here. And then I was walking to the other school, just like their rooms, just to see whatever, and the one person I recruited was just alone in that room, and I was like, oh, that's sad because they're all dead and you're sorry about that.
Oh man.
That's the only one I've ever played. I only played like 15 minutes of it, probably.
Yeah, I stopped after that time skip. That was like 40 hours in, and I was like, I can't do this.
I don't know how I managed to beat that game because I've played many Fire Emblem games. I've only ever beaten 2. I've beaten Sacred Stones on Game Boy Advance, and then I beat Three Houses, even though it was just brutal and difficult.
Yeah, the game wasn't. I mean, the first time I was playing that game, it definitely wasn't like the easiest thing for me to understand. But
and that always makes it difficult for me when people can die forever too, because it's like, well, I didn't know what I was doing. That's not fair. I'm sorry.
And that's why I reload the saves in XCOM, because I cannot let Stegosaurus make Waffle House die.
Yeah, I say that, and then I'm against
assault.
doing that in XCOM. So I don't know. I'm a hypocrite.
Stegosaurus make Waffle House. Is that what you said?
I name all of my characters in XCOM goofy garbage. I forget what my ace sniper was called. I made a tweet about that. I'll have to look it up and screenshot it to you. But yeah, there was Stegosaurus McWaffle House. He was my main shotgunner guy.
Of course.
Oh, what the hell were they? I forget, but I love. It's my favorite thing ever.
The best part was the game would, after they get to a certain level, the game would like, your person has earned a nickname, and it'll give them a nickname that is just doesn't fit their character at all. It'll be like Steakhouse or Deadeye, and it just puts it in the middle of the name, so it'd be like Stegosaurus Deadeye McWaffle House.
Snake meat sandwich.
Really changed it.
Yes, there we go. That's more fitting.
That's a good name. Speaking of good names, My next pick is Aku Aku in Crash Bandicoot series.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
hoping you were going to go more the route of speaking of steakhouses.
No, no. I seriously kept that last section going until I found something that connected with one of my characters. Aku Aku though, like I just liked the mechanics of that back when I was a kid because in Sonic he just put all the rings in his pocket, and as long as he had rings in his pocket he couldn't die, and Mario was like, I'm bigger now so I can take a hit. And Crash Bandicoot had Aku Aku, this mask that followed him around, and he would take a hit for you. And that was super cool. And he was part of the story too, obviously, because his twin brother Uka Uka was the evil mask.
Yeah.
So there's story relevance in there. And when you collect 3 of them, he just attaches himself to your face, and then you're invincible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot you could stack them.
And it plays a little music.
It's
when you-
it's great music. Ooh, invincibility music. That'd be a good topic to talk about sometime. Best
I only know
invincibility
2.
music.
too.
Mario and Crash Bandicoot.
There's got to be more, right?
Yeah, I'd think.
Oh yeah, I'll get on the old YouTube and look up some more.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Aku Aku, great companion, great follower.
That's a good one.
Is it me next?
Yes.
Yep. Hit us with another great segue.
So speaking of side characters, I have Wheatley from Portal 2.
Ooh, yes. Oh man, I had forgotten about him.
He's kind of just funny and bland, you know. He's very stupid, but obviously he's not meant to be stupid because he's a robot. But I think he makes a puzzle game more than just a puzzle game. You know, you lose half of the story or the fun of the game without this little eyeball dude just following you around, yelling at you the entire game. Yeah, he has very like quirky jokes. I've got one actually written down here. It's not out of the question that you might have very minor case of serious brain damage. Very minor case of serious brain damage.
Hell yeah.
But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling because that's the proper reaction to being told you have brain damage.
The best part was
Serious.
just how he reacted to you doing things while you're
Yeah.
solving puzzles and stuff, because he'd be so condescending or surprised or whatever. It was just great messing with him.
Or if you like skipped over certain parts of the puzzle, he would just freak out. Oh no, God, don't do that. You're not meant to do that.
Yeah. Really push that puzzle game stuff to the next level, like you said. Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird how we had a whole episode about puzzle games that we love, and I haven't played Portal 2 yet.
You haven't played that game?
I've only ever played the first Portal. I haven't played Portal 2 ever.
Portal 2 is, I think, better.
Oh yeah,
Right.
it's way
Let's co-op
better.
that shit.
Yeah, I
That's-
have that game. We
It's
could
a
do
different
co-op.
experience if you do co-op, isn't it? That's not. It doesn't go through the story.
Right. No,
Oh, does it?
you're two robots actually going.
It's
through
still good. It's still
different
really
puzzles.
good, but it's not the
Oh.
story.
Yeah, and it's actually a different set of puzzles if I remember right. So,
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yep.
No, it's
Or
you.
no, it's me. It's
Yeah,
fuck.
it's
Oh
you.
my gosh. Okay. I'll never get used to this rotation. Pop give. Next one I have is this is one Tommy should know. Leif from Bug Fables.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Bug
Yeah.
Fables.
Yeah, just a little moth who then he ventured into that snake mouth den or whatever and sadly passed away. He got trapped or whatever. And then there was that sentient like fungus that like took over his body and like inhabited his body and shares his like consciousness, but it's also a separate thing. And it's got those sweet ice powers from those ice crystals too.
Yeah,
What a great game.
It was a real. Did you finish the game?
No, I'm desperate.
Me too.
I'm playing it on hard mode. I refuse to
Oh my
not play
gosh,
it on
you
hard mode.
monster. That's
It's
oof.
it's so brutal. It's so tough.
Yeah. What I really liked about Leaf is definitely of the trio the best, just because he's got these mysteries attached to him. Like early on, he'll just like go into satanic mode and start chanting all these things in all this weird language, and you're like, "What was that?" And he's like, "I don't know." And you're like, "Cool, let's just keep going, I guess."
Then he's always referring to himself as we or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you find out later on he's just his corpse was brought back to life by this sentient fungus that somehow shares his memories and shit. And
Me too.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
That's how I'd want to be brought back to life.
it's a Paper Mario like, but it's a game that like still made itself unique, and I think having characters like that was something they did that was really great, really caught you off guard.
Yeah, it's surprising how much they did with what was the B again? I think it was just V.
Yeah,
They had quite a bit of backstory to her, and Kabu also. He had
yeah.
a pretty great backstory. I don't know, I forget how far you got in Bug Fables.
I don't even remember how far I got. That was another one that just grinded. I'm terrible at finishing games. I don't finish a
Yeah.
lot of games.
Me too. I
Um,
feel that.
Yeah, I'm bad at it too. I feel like everybody's bad at it. Something new comes out and they just stop playing whatever they're playing.
Or there's a sale.
Yeah. Yeah, like summer sale. Like
Yeah.
PlayStation does a summer sale and Steam does a summer sale.
I buy all the games and I'm like, man, I can't wait to play this, and then I never play them.
When something's on sale for $1, it's like I need to own them. I'm doing myself a disservice by not owning. I tell Nova this all the time about Vampire Survivors. It's $3. It's only $3. That's 3 Arnold Palmers. Just buy it.
I have like a million games though, and half of them I haven't beat. I just actually recently bought the Arkham Knight series for like the Batman games, like Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah, and I bought those
Have
6 games ago, and I haven't beat them.
Have you
So-
played them before, or is this like your first go through?
I have played them before, but I played them as they were coming out.
Yeah.
So it's been a really long time, and I'm still on Arkham Asylum right now.
Those are so good. I love
They
those.
are.
I always forget about those games. They were so good, especially like those stealth parts where you like pick out the bad guys and try not to get caught. Oh,
There's kind of a new one coming out, but it's Arkham Knights, and it's like all of the side characters are actually having their own game,
ooh.
like Red Hood and Robin.
I hope it's
Batgirl.
good.
I
What
hope
a
it's good too.
what a pleasant surprise the Arkham series was, because like I don't know, there weren't ever good superhero games really, and then Arkham Asylum came out, and everyone's like, "Hey, this is really good actually," and it
Yeah,
was.
'cause before that, yeah, there was just like what Aquaman's shitty adventure on the GameCube,
That game
Superman
sucked.
64.
Superman Fart Sound 64.
I'm pretty sure they made a Wolverine game.
I loved that. Everybody hates that game,
Which one?
but I love that game. The one that came out with
on the 360 and PS3.
yeah,
or...
it came out when the Wolverine like solo movie came
Yeah,
out.
Wolverine Origins.
Origins, yeah. X-Men Origins. Wolverine, that's what it's called.
Because that was like Devil May Cry, like God of War and shit, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Or-
It
Like
had,
every
the
360
hack and
PS3
slash
game.
type.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good game, and it kind of just followed the story of the movie, but it was really good.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Did you have an advertisement, Aaron, or not really?
Oh, I do. Are you guys ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Hey, folks, Nathan Pepperoni here with a new fantastic product. Are you always looking for ways to avoid physical contact with other people? Wanting to slink your way out of handshakes, high fives, hugs, and everything else? Introducing Pocket Gunk. Wanting to get out of that awkward handshake with your ex-wife's new boyfriend? Pocket Gunk is here to save the day. Slip your hand into your pocket, give Pocket Gunk a squeeze, and pop! Not today, Antonio. Secret to Pocket Gunk is the easily punctured single-layer pouch. All it takes is a good squeeze, pinch, or scratch. Pocket Gunk blasts your pockets into a sticky, slimy, gooey mess. Pocket Gunk will cut that out. Pocket Gunk was specially formulated by the top chemists at Florida Memorial University to be a runny, gummy, icky mess for up to 4 hours. What's in Pocket Gunk, you might ask? Not even our Florida chemists know, but who cares? That's right, folks. Pocket Gunk. Your mother-in-law will never try to come at you for a hug while your hands are covered in whatever the heck Pocket Gunk is even made of. Buy it today. Must be 18 years or older to call. Product prone to staining clothing and rendering pockets unusable. Avoid contact with eyes, lips, ears, and nose. Not intended for children. Please see package for details. Adult assembly required. And that's Pocket Gunk.
They need Pocket Gunk for phone calls. I need to be able to jam it into the speaker and it go to the other person so that they hang up.
Just act like you're going through a tunnel. Like, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on.
Pocket Gunk.
Pocket. There you go. Dip your phone in it.
Speaking of things that start with the letter G, like Gunk does, my next pick is Garrus from Mass Effect.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, my boy.
I had a hard time picking because there's so many good companions in Mass Effect, but Garrus is just like the broiest of bros, and
Is
I just love their friendship throughout the series. He's just such a I don't know. I don't. What is it? What is it about Garrus that makes him such a good friend and a good bro? He's just like always there, and they just have a good friendship relationship, and it's just really nice to have in the middle of trying to save the universe.
He's a total G. I mean, most other companions I feel like are just kind of, I can't think of it. Garrus is just, he's always friendly, always chummy. Everybody else is just doing their own shit. Like that Krogan guy we talked about in one of our episodes who I fucking killed on accident.
And I
He was
killed
kind
on
of a
purpose.
dickhead. Yeah.
Garrus, one of the only companions I'm pretty sure you can't have sex with in the third game.
True. Yeah, that's right.
He's too pure.
Yep.
He's abstinent. He's got the ring to prove it.
I don't.
No, Shepard, don't.
the voice actor for him, every time I see him on a commercial or on a small TV role, I point to the TV and I'm like, "Babe, it's Garrus," and she's like, "Who's Garrus?" And I'm like, "It's Garrus." She's like, "Oh, okay."
Just an old friend.
Who is the voice actor for Garrus, Tommy?
I don't know his name. I just recognize his face.
Hey, I'm gonna look it up real fast.
He was a
Garrus?
teacher in Pen 15. If you've seen that
Brandon
on
Keener?
Hulu. He's in a bunch of commercials.
Give me one sec. I'm gonna find him. There we go. Brandon Keener.
He's in Andromeda too. I've never played that one.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Andromeda. Andromeda's bad. Andromeda's real bad. I like to see the good in games. I like to be like people over exaggerate how bad games are, but Andromeda is bad.
That's what I've heard. I have a friend that every time I'd go over to his house, his uncle would be there, and he would be playing that game on their TV. And it was like every day for 6 or 7 months, he would just be playing that game, and it was always such a terrible experience to watch him because it just looked so bad. There was no, and he didn't even enjoy it either. He just played it to play it,
No,
you know.
That was me for the longest time. I was like, it's got to get good. It can't just be this the whole time. It has to
They
get
had the
better.
jetpack thing. The jetpack thing was kind of cool.
Yeah, the combat is like the one redeeming quality is the combat was actually really good, and using the powers and everything, that was good. But story, characters, world, everything else. Ugh.
Also, Tommy, you didn't mention that Garrus's voice actor was in the Kevin James smash box office hit, The Zookeeper.
No
Oh.
way.
Yeah, he was in it.
Who is he?
I'm gonna look it back up again. One moment, please.
Tell me he's the giraffe. Wait, isn't I think the giraffe's a woman.
I don't know this movie.
I'm gonna look it
You
up.
don't know this
Go-
movie?
Google Zookeeper Kevin James.
Okay.
He's a zookeeper, but he can also talk to all of the animals.
He was Nymer.
Who's that?
Let's see.
Oh, the 2011 film.
That's not how you spell that.
Whatever, dude.
Aaron.
Bing will help me.
Well, when
Thank you, Bing.
it shows the cast and he's not in like the first
Oh.
dozen people.
Well, he doesn't seem very significant, so let's move on.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at the
he's a
images,
sm-
and it
yeah.
was just a different picture of a person every single picture. It wasn't like so he's not in this movie, I don't think.
but we love. By the way, while we're on awesome Mass Effect characters, who was the one green guy in like Mass Effect 2 or 3? Like the
Oh,
assassin
Thane.
guy. Thane, yeah, he
Thane.
was awesome. Him and the doctor guy, Morden or whatever. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, Thane was the
And Garrus.
coolest because he's like a guy who's gonna die. He's got a terminal illness, and yet he's still trying
that's right.
to save the universe, and that's just such a cool perspective to have.
What a great series.
So the new game isn't like it can't be Shepard, right? So who's the main character in
I have no idea.
Isn't it
I-
like your descendants or something?
Well, he died. He doesn't have descendants, unless he
yeah,
banged
back
someone
at
right
the end of
before
the
the
third
end.
game.
Maybe that's how it decides. It depends on who you romanced, and it's their children. Ooh.
Well,
Jesus, so like everybody in the game.
I remember.
unluckily for them,
No, I'm not
in
done yet.
Mass-
Oh, I thought you were going to transition. Sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to yell.
no,
I didn't
no,
mean
you're
to
fine.
yell.
Go ahead, Tommy. Just go.
in Andromeda, the Asari girl like introduces herself to you. Like I found her a little bit later, and right away she's like, "Yeah, so I just like doing people, you know. I'm just that kind of person." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then like you
Yeah.
just go you just go and do like your mid-mission chats or whatever, and then like one time she's like, "So you want to do it?" And I'm like, "I don't even know you, girl. Like I'm not that
Freak.
kind of captain." But that was like
She's
her
got
whole
bondage with
personality.
whoever she is.
Ugh, Andromeda.
Hell yeah.
I think there was an Asari companion in the third game. I can't remember her name.
Was it Tali?
Yeah,
She's Tali.
that's the
That's-
doctor,
no.
right? Like you find her on Mars or whatever, the planet that looks like Mars.
Tommy's our Mass Effect expert.
Yeah, it's not Tali. Tali was the one in the suit, the
Okay.
with the Russian accent almost.
Yeah.
That's the one that I did.
Yeah, that was yeah, me too.
Okay, now you can transition, Aaron. I give you permission. Or is it
Is
Nova?
it me or is it Aaron? I think
Oh,
it's
yes,
me.
Nova.
I think
My
it's
bad.
Toby, yeah.
Let me look.
Speaking of doing chicks,
Yeah, speaking of doing chicks, well, that's fucked up. My next one's a child, Aaron.
oh, we can edit that out if you want.
Both of my next two characters are children. So
It's our podcast.
you
Go for
pick
it,
man or woman.
man.
All right. Well, this one's more acceptable. Not really. Artreus from God of War. It's only acceptable because he's Loki at the end of the game.
Ooh.
You figured that out. But
The
there's-
Loki?
yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So his father Kratos had sex with a frost giant.
Nice.
classic.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, there's kind of just parts of the game you can't progress without him. So he's got this little bow, and he can shoot open like certain parts of doors and stuff. Like it's got an electric thing, or it's got like a frost thing. You know, it can freeze an elevator, or it can give power to something. And so like the little puzzles in the game you can't really get past without him. And he's got his own set of abilities too, so you can get like little glyphs and stuff you can put on him.
That's cool.
So if you hold a button down, there's this one where it's just a stampede of boars, and
Ooh.
it runs over people, but it's actually made out of arrows. He shoots it out of his bow.
Yeah, boar arrows.
He
And,
Lion Kings him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
At the beginning of the game, like Kratos like hates him too, you know. But the farther you progress, the closer they get, because they're obviously like battling together and stuff. And the whole plot of the 2018 God of War game is to get Atreus' mother's ashes to the top of this mountain where all the frost giants were. So they're kind of just battling through that to get up there, and at the end of the game, they're actually really close, and they have a great bond, you know.
that's cool.
Does does finding out that he's Loki change anything, or is he like a new Loki so he can still be shaped to be whatever?
So like he kind of starts going a little crazy a little bit before you find out, and he only finds out because he reads this like sacred text on the wall. So the whole game is actually like a prophecy that you can read off of the wall. There's little like backstory pieces that you can walk up to and have Artreus read, because they're written in like frost giant talk. And at like close to the end of the game, he finds out that he's actually Loki, and he's like, "Oh, that makes sense why I've been wanting to just stab people in the neck the entire game." You know?
Nice. Classic.
But he actually like just loses that lust for blood after he figures that out. Kratos kind of talks him out of it, you know. And Kratos is like, not everybody has to be a bad god and all that, because Kratos' whole shtick is he kills the gods,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is Kratos still? No, he's not still the God of War in like the PS4 God of War, is he?
Well, I mean, he is, because he I don't want to. I'm not a huge spoiler guy, but
That's fine. You don't have to say it.
he I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
4
okay.
years ago. It's past the
Um,
statute of
well,
limitations.
in the previous game, he kills all of the Greek gods, and he becomes the God of War because he kills Ares.
Yeah.
So he does go to like the it's like the Asgardian gods and
Oh,
stuff.
Valhalla?
And
Or-
well, in the 2018 God of War, he's fighting the Asgardian gods, like Freya's in the game,
Oh.
Odin and stuff like that. So he's still the God of War, but he's not like the Asgardian God of War, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the next one's
also-
gonna have Thor, and it's a big chubby Thor.
Yep.
Nova, who's your favorite Loki in all of media? 'Cause my favorite is the one. No, you go first. I don't want to spoil my favorite.
The alligator from the TV show.
That's a good one. Tommy, who's your favorite Loki?
I've only seen the Loki TV show and that Loki, so I'm gonna have to go with the main Loki.
My favorite is from the next box office smash hit, The Son of the Mask.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Son of the Mask.
Yeah, so you've seen Mask with Jim Carrey in it, right?
I maybe when I was a small child, but not recently.
So you know how he puts on the mask,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
turns it so the mask is actually like Loki's mask. So that's
Oh,
why he goes crazy when he puts the mask on.
oh, it was a
And
Marvel movie the whole time.
Yeah.
and his son naturally has powers of the mask because he impregnated his wife while wearing the mask or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my favorite Loki is the one from Son of the Mask. It's great. Alan Cummings, or Cumming, whatever. Shout out to you, big fella, whatever you're doing now.
Probably not much. Look at him. He kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr. a little bit in that picture.
I can see that. Speaking of Robert Downey Jr., next one I have is Jeff from Earthbound. Yeah, and
Yay, Earthbound.
and you don't have any experience at all with Earthbound, do you, Tommy?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah. So in Earthbound, you have, I guess, counting Ness, there are four main characters, of course: Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. Um, Jeff is the only one that does not have any PSI or psychic abilities. The only ones that can do that are obviously Ness, Paula, and Pooh. But um,
There's a
Jeff,
character named Pooh in
yeah,
that game.
Pooh. He's from this like Chinese like martial arts kingdom. I forget what it's called. But yeah, his name's Pooh.
Hmm.
But Jeff, he can't use any PSI abilities, but his main weapons are guns, which are obviously
Nice.
powerful.
Nice.
Yep. So he can shoot all the cultists and the moving refrigerators and shit. But
What?
it's Earthbound, man. It's on the Switch Online Super Nintendo thing. Play it. But anyway, Jeff, there's some depending on what his IQ level is, which is an actual stat in Earthbound that determines like your max PP or psychic points.
PP.
Yeah.
Max PP. But yeah, depending on what his IQ is, there are certain broken items you can pick up that Jeff can repair and make usable items that you can reuse in combat for him. Like there's one called the Hungry HP Sucker,
Oh,
which I would love if it were called the Hungry PP Sucker. But yeah, you just suck HP from enemies and it gives you their HP. There's also the Shield Killer, which like it says just kills shields enemies have. But yeah, he can also use other weapons like bottle rockets, which cause explosions. He can use all sorts of stuff to either buff your allies, debuff enemies, damage enemies, and stuff like that. He also has a spy command, so we can see like enemy, like their stats and their weaknesses and their attacks and stuff like that. But
he's a Dragon Ball character.
yeah, he's got the little scouter on. He's like their power level is 2 because it's the fucking refrigerator.
He's got negative PP.
He does have negative PP.
Low IQ, negative PP.
There we go. Who's there we go, King Puke.
Oh, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, Jeff rocks.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff. Speaking of characters that rock, Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite is my pick.
I was gonna write that one down too, but I didn't, so that's good.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I knew that you were contemplating it.
Right.
BioShock Infinite came out in like 2012, 2013 or so, and that like hearing that BioShock Infinite, like it kind of had beforehand that was like, oh, it's going to be one big escort mission, and escort missions in video games are bad. They're always bad, and the developers are like, no, it's good. She's super helpful. She'll help you in combat and stuff. And it was like, okay, we'll see. And then she's really great. She can't die or anything. And as you're just going around fighting, throwing magic around, she'll be like, Booker, here's some ammo. And you hit a button and it turns to her and she'll throw you some ammo. Or like, Booker, here's some money I found. I found some money, Booker. She'll throw you money. Here's some schmeckles. And it was just they were totally right. It was great to have in combat, and it was a fun character to be going around through this world with, because she's like seeing everything for the first time. So she'll walk around and be like, "What's this, Booker?" And she'll be like, "We gotta get out of here." And she's like, "No, look at the birds! Whoa!" And it was just fun seeing the world through her eyes. Because I know when I go through games, especially shooters, I have a habit of just running through and finding things to shoot. And I don't actually take in the world or everything around me. So it was nice to have Elizabeth there to like get me to slow down and actually take a look at the world that I was in.
Oh yeah, and she's only like that because she was held captive in that tower or whatever by that bird or something,
Yeah,
wasn't she?
yeah, yep.
That's right.
It's almost like she's escorting you though the whole game. I
Yeah,
mean, at least to me it was, right? 'Cause
yeah,
she's showing you around more than you're showing her around.
absolutely.
Oh, and that ending, holy shit.
Yeah,
Here's
Insanity.
you
a
know.
throwback to episode 3 or whatever of Super Pod Saga.
Isn't it? There's DLC to that game, isn't there? I'm pretty
There
sure I played
is,
that.
yeah, and you
Yep.
find
Yeah, I think.
different Elizabeths or alternate Elizabeths.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I
I never
enjoyed that
played
game
that.
a lot.
That was a good one.
The DLC is very good, very good.
There's one that takes you to Rapture, isn't there?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one I was thinking of.
they're still
Like,
working on a new Bioshock.
I'm down, whatever. I mean, I think they could probably do anything to
I,
that game series. They go anywhere really, because it's just such a weird series of games.
They've done one underwater. They've done one in the sky. They should do one in space. That would actually be pretty cool. Because I mean, in space, you're entirely alone, isolated. It
or
would make for a great.
maybe completely underground. I know that's kind of boring, but
That's
That's
no,
like
that would be cool.
that's Doom.
Actually,
I feel like that's Doom.
yeah, yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
I can't believe it's been a decade. How hasn't there been a Bioshock 4 in a decade?
It's gonna be good when they come out with a new one then.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't a lot of the devs move on to
Well, the studio got disbanded. They got let
Yeah.
go by 2K. So it's a new studio making it, but
yeah, and a lot of them worked on Dishonored, didn't they?
I think that's unrelated because that's published by
Oh.
Bethesda.
All right, moving on.
It's Nova's turn.
Oh, it is me. Okay, this is my last one.
That was
This is
my
the
last one too,
I
so
got.
no worries.
Yeah, Jeff was my last one.
Okay. So saved my favorite one for last because I loved these games. Clementine from the Telltale
Oh my
Walking
gosh,
Dead
that's the
series.
best pick.
God, that ending, holy shit, made me tear up.
She's like just your conscience pretty
Oh my
much the whole
gosh.
game. Like you can obviously make your own decisions and stuff, but it always makes you think back to the little child that speaking of escort missions, you know,
Yeah.
you're kind of escorting her through
Yeah.
the apocalypse the whole time, but you always think back and think about what's going to happen to her more than what's going to happen to the main character or anybody else. Basically, I mean, she's just a character you raise
Yeah.
throughout the seasons and ends up being the protagonist in the second installment of the Walking
that's
Dead
great.
games. Your character at the beginning or in the original series, Lee would just do anything and would
Mhm.
die at any moment for this child, you know, and he's like an escaped convict or whatever.
That's right.
And
Yep.
it's kind of like she gives him a new life, you know, and it's actually those games were great because all those characters you could connect with and you can side with certain like factions, if you will, in the game. Like I hated Kenny
I was
until
Yeah,
about to say
yeah.
fuck Kenny.
Yeah.
until the end of the first game. It's actually spoiler alert, but these games came out forever ago.
Yeah, if you haven't played them, you've had plenty of time.
The
Get over it.
second installment, the one where you're Clementine, Kenny comes back,
Yep.
and he's another companion that you could get in the second game.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he's like not a skinhead. But yeah, that's probably my favorite companion in all of games because
Very,
that's like
very well put.
yeah,
That was a good one.
it's I mean you raise her to be for her to be who you want her to be, and then you get to play as her in the second game, which is just like great. And then they stopped making those games because I think like Telltale went out of business or whatever.
Yep.
But,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Just taking that mechanic of like you doing something or saying something and seeing in the corner whoever will remember that, and then the last scene with Lee dying and you saying things and seeing Clementine will remember that is just like brutal. Like
Yeah.
so well
Yeah.
done.
yeah. And the whole second game is like her trying to be as great as Lee, but like I feel like she's a better survivor than he was. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I remember, gosh, I don't know why this is sticking with me, but you were like, I told her to keep her hair short because I figured less thing to grab her, and then like in the second
yeah,
game, I
that's
was
right.
like, hey, she's keeping that hair short. She did remember.
Yep, that's when you're teaching her how to shoot a gun on the back of that train or whatever.
Yeah.
And you cut her hair. Yep.
Wasn't in the second game? Doesn't she also find like another kid? Then Dresser around or something.
I think so.
I forget.
Man, I
Well,
gotta.
they get stuck in like I think it's like a grocery store or something. I don't know. It's been forever since I played that game.
Yeah.
Same.
But I think there's another kid there. I'm pretty sure.
This might give me a reason to dig out my PS3.
Yeah, they had a sale for like the Steam Summer Sale. They were selling them all of the games for like $40 for all of the Telltale games because they did a Batman one too, and they did like a Guardians of the Galaxy game. And
We forgot about those.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I love those games.
Wolf Among Us. Did you ever play the Wolf Among Us?
Oh
Yes,
yeah, that was a
yes.
good one.
That was good too.
I actually heard that they were trying to still make another like
Yeah.
second game.
They dropped a teaser trailer for it out of the nowhere and then disappeared again.
Yeah.
Speaking of games brought back from the dead, Tommy, did you see that Dead Island 2 is finally coming out?
Yeah. What the
No
heck?
way, dude. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's
showed a
finally-
trailer for it last week.
I love those games. Everybody hated Riptide too, but I just love like the smashing zombies
It
in
was
the head.
awesome, dude.
Dude, we gotta. I have that game. We gotta play that.
We do got to play that. I like to be in the rapper guy who's like,
Yeah,
his specialty was blunt weapons. I just have
Yeah.
a flaming 2x4 and clunk.
he makes some good music, man. What's that one song?
I don't know, but he came from New Orleans. That's at the beginning said over and over and over.
In Riptide, it's like the theme song for that game. Who do you voodoo?
Yeah, there we go.
Who do you voodoo, bitch? I love that. I love that song.
Oh my
It's actually on my Spotify.
God. Spotify.
My
Yep.
Spotify.
Yes.
Damn, dude.
Oh, so that's the end, huh? That's all the.
That's
That's it. That's
every last one.
every follower, every companion in video games has been discussed here. If you think of any others, though, feel free to comment on the Twitter at SuperPodSaga. We have an email, superpodsaga@gmail.com. We have an Instagram. Guess what? It's called SuperPodSaga. Facebook as well. That's a thing we're doing.
That's right. I keep forgetting about it, but yeah, some people do comment on stuff on the Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. What's
Yeah, Nova.
I do.
Aaron?
so then it's your turn, Aaron, to pick next week's topic. What are we going to be talking about next week?
I actually forgot to pick a topic, but give me one sec.
Okay.
I'm very sorry, Tommy.
Oh, it's okay. It's just like one of the main features of
The
podcast.
I know.
whole end of this, you know.
I put so much thought and like TLC into that ad because I
You
thought
were
of it
just
while I was rocking
pounding
the
away
baby
at
to
the
sleep.
ad.
Is this all the topics you guys have done? Let me read it.
These are the different ones that I was going to talk about, but no, we can do video game crossovers.
Oh, that'll be
Mhm.
fun. Oh,
I've
there's
got
some-
one. One just popped in my mind right now.
I got a crazy one that you're gonna be like, I can't believe that was an actual thing.
Oh yeah,
I'll
no, we
save
can
it.
go ahead and you can go ahead and spill yours then if you want.
I was just Marvel versus Capcom just kind of popped in my head. I mean, that's kind of a crossover because
That is a crossover.
100%.
the game, but
Yeah, well that's a good one. Marvel vs. Capcom.
I just loved beating the hell out of Captain America.
So yeah, look forward to seeing that next week. Anyone else have anything they want to say before we say goodbye?
Nova, anything you want to say to people?
Thank you.
No, thank you, Nova. You've been a wonderful
Yeah.
guest.
Perfect.
All right, bye everyone.
Had a great time.
Sure did. We did too.
Yep. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.